Sam, welcome back to the UK.
Yes.
It's good to see you again.
It's been a little while.
It has been a while. When was the last time I saw you? It was like Longrove, Leicester?
I don't know. All I know is the last time I toured out here was 2.5 years ago.
That is crazy.
It's crazy.
How does it feel to be back and be on tour again?
It feels tiring. It feels very exciting. I think everything's a little elevated because it's been so long. So both kind of like the thrill of getting to perform in front of human beings is elevated. But I've also gotten 2.5 years older. And so the fatigue that I didn't experience as intensely in my younger years is catching up. But in general, it's been really good. I can't complain. It's been fun.
And you're out here with the fabulous Ruthie Collins,
Yeah.
who's opening the show for you and
Yep.
playing in your band as well.
Yep.
So tell us about working with Ruthie and why she's such a great fit for this tour.
And well, she's a great fit for the tour because she's just a great songwriter and a great singer. So, lucky me for having her as my support on the shows, and as you mentioned, playing and singing in the band. But yeah, this was initially going to be like an over month-long full tour of Europe, and then we ended up splitting it up and just keeping the UK dates and rescheduling Europe for later in the year. So I kind of scrambled because I initially was going to maybe bring like the full rock band and not have an opener. I didn't know what I was going to do. So when I started putting together a new plan at the last minute, my guitar player Brad, who I've worked with for over 10 years from back in Los Angeles, he lives in Nashville now, and he kind of introduced me to Ruthie's music, and I checked her out, and I was like, man, she's really good, but I don't think she'll probably want to do this tour because it's just little old me, and we're just doing 9 shows in the UK. Anyway, but long story short, she enthusiastically said she would like to do it, and I'm just so thankful because she's been just the most hardworking and amazingly talented person.
Yeah.
So.
And how's life in Nashville been for you? Because you moved there a few years back.
Yeah, we moved there in 2018.
Yeah, and how are you finding life there, and how has it changed your sort of outlook on music? Because I know the last album was a big departure for you.
Sure.
How much has being in Nashville sort of influenced that?
I don't know that, if I'm honest, I don't know how much an influence Nashville's had on my music at all. I mean, I'm really lucky that I met Cheyenne Metters, the producer of the record, who's also playing in my band. Nashville, it's a place I'd already visited a lot, so it's not like it was much of a culture shock. I kind of knew what to expect. It really was just a logistical move for the family. We found out, we were having a second kid. We wanted a life that was a little more family friendly. We wanted to, God forbid, own a home and put down some roots. So really Nashville was kind of just a logistical move, just another place to be. And I still spend so much time in Southern California. So it's been good. I've gotten to play the Grand Ole Opry a handful of times. So that and that alone is almost been worth it.
Yeah.
And also the added benefit of just, obviously being around a lot of other musicians. So it's been interesting. It's been cool. Part of me feels like I'll eventually end up back in Los Angeles or Southern California because that's where my family is. But then, who knows? We've got a pretty good life right now.
Yeah, well, I have to ask about Magnus as well because he did his leg or something, didn't he? He broke a
Yeah,
bone
so my
before he
3-year-old broke his leg riding his scooter in our driveway. His upper leg, so it was a real nasty break. And the poor little guy had to be in a cast from his chest down to his ankle for like 6 weeks. But he's been out of the cast now for, I guess, almost a month. Yeah, almost a month. He got it off on February 28th, and he's doing really well. The doctor said he might limp for like a year, and within a week he was walking pretty good, and now he's running, and he's still got a little bit of a limp, but it almost just kind of makes him cuter. So Magnus is doing good. My 5-year-old Leo's doing good. But I mean, they're so used to having me home now. And the last time I went on tour, they were like babies that weren't aware really that I was gone. So it's throwing off the family ecosystem to have dad, out of town for so long. But it's good. I think it's good for us to miss each other. I think it's good to realize how much you love each other, realize how much you do kind of depend on each other. It's a sad kind of loneliness, but I think in a good way since it's temporary.
Yeah, very cool. And moving on to music now, you've obviously released the Popular Mechanics album last year, but you've released a couple of little bits since then as well.
Yeah.
The Enya cover.
Yeah.
Tell us about that and working with Molly on
Well,
that.
I just know how much country fans love Enya, so I wanted to give the people what they want. No, I just, so Popular Mechanics was released digitally in November of 2021. It finally got a physical release this month with CDs and vinyl, hopefully coming soon, unless Adele releases another record. And yeah, as you mentioned, Popular Mechanics is a bit of a sonic departure. I started that record in early 2018 and kind of had some songs with one foot in the new direction and one foot in kind of some areas I'd already explored. So I really just wanted to go full blast in the new style, which was kind of more of like a rock forward, almost like 80s inspired thing, bombastic and lots going on. And then I also recorded all these, I don't know if you'd consider them singles or bonus tracks. I really don't care what people want to classify them as. But the first one that I released is a duet with Molly Parton, whom I've toured with and who's one of my best friends, kind of like the fifth member of our family. Very talented singer-songwriter, and I asked her if she would do a song with me, so we picked Enya's song Wild Child. And I like Enya because, first of all, I just like her music, and I like her attitude up towards, I guess, art. One time, I guess, apparently someone asked her in an interview, you know, you get classified as being a new age artist. Do you consider your genre to be new age? And she said, my genre is Enya. And I think that's kind of just so cool. And I think to my fans or followers who were hoping for another country-inspired record and instead got this rock record, my response is kind of the same thing. Like, I never said I was going to make one genre of music, but I will definitely always make Sam Outlaw records. So. And then the record, the song we just put out is called Lonely Man. And this one's definitely a little bit more kind of grounded in the Americana genre people expect. So I guess there's a little mischievous part of me that likes to keep people guessing. I'm not doing it on purpose to like throw people off or to confuse people, but I think I'm just going to release the songs however I want to. Yeah. There's not like a big master plan.
Yeah, you know? The genre is Sam Outlaw.
The genre is Sam Outlaw, yeah. And again, a lot of the people that checked out the record like that, and they're just like, oh, this is, even though it sounds different, it's still you know? And there was a few people who were like, oh, this isn't country music anymore, so I'm not going to stay in the ship. And I totally get that too. Because, you know, you got to like what you like, but I got to also make what I want to make.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm cool either way.
Yeah. So is there any songs from the Popular Mechanics album or one of the new ones that's going down particularly well live? Because it's, like I say, it is a very different one. So has the audience sort of picked up on a certain track?
I've been so surprised, especially in the UK, where I know that a lot of the people that I think have followed me in the UK, I think they're a little more hardcore country genre specific fans. I've been really surprised at the amount of people that are singing along to the new songs. So if I had a favorite that we're getting to do right now, it might be the song Here on a Mission, which is track 1 from the record. It's this big rock song. We're doing it with this band in kind of this pared down acoustic setting. But Ruthie's vocals just coming through so beautifully. I recorded the song in the studio with a Nashville singer named Brandy Zidane. It's almost like a quasi duet, and so it's cool. It's been cool singing it with Ruthie every night. Also, the song For the Rest of Our Lives has been a lot of fun. It's basically like a Tom Petty ripoff, and yeah, again, I kind of like having the songs pared down to really just the vocals. I think for me, when I listen to music, that's something that always is probably the first thing I gravitate towards. And so not doing the full bass and drums and synth rock show, it kind of forces you to focus, I guess.
Yeah. Well, one of the songs on the album, which is a personal favourite for mine, is Half a World Away.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to ask you about, because how on earth do you perform that live if you ever do perform that live?
We're not. We haven't even tried it yet. And I love that song. Now, here's the thing. Before we left on tour, I had to scrabble together some rehearsals, and I'd never performed with Ruthie. And I sent her 26 songs to learn. So that one didn't make the list, and I think once we started kind of refining the set list and getting it down to the songs we were going to do, and then the alternate songs that we have as like, you know, extras, I almost would have felt guilty sending her one more song to learn. So that's one of my favorites too. I'm surprised that you like that one. I really like that one too. And all I can say is I love playing the new songs. I wish I could get to all of them. But then you'd really anger people if you didn't leave space for the other records and for the other stuff. So, but who knows? There's still 3 shows left. Maybe we can fit it in somehow in Glasgow or in Newcastle.
Yeah. Well, just finally, Sam, what's the plan for the rest of the year? Have you got a long line of shows lined up when you get back? Or?
Man, I'm kind of almost like a part-time musician these days. I'm spending a lot of time being a dad. I'm going to do some U.S. touring. I'm going to tour the West Coast a little bit, the East Coast a little bit. I'll probably play some festivals. And then the dates in Europe that were supposed to be this month, we've rescheduled for the end of September and for October. So we'll do the usuals like Sweden, Norway, Netherlands, Denmark. And beyond that, I just don't know. We're all kind of just getting back on the saddle.
Yeah, it feels weird, doesn't
it?
So
I even finally booked a show the other day in San Francisco, and this is in the 7 years since I've been doing this full time, never has happened to me. The promoter or the venue got back and said, "We're so sorry, we double booked the night. Like 3 days before we confirmed you, someone else at the venue so I'm at the point where I'm like, no one even knows what they're doing anymore. You know, everybody is, I think, relearning how to do live music. Hotels seem to be relearning how to do hospitality. Restaurants seem to be relearning how to serve people food for money. So I think everybody's just still getting their bearings. Yeah. And I definitely want to play a lot of shows, but I also really enjoy being kind of at home with my family. So I'm definitely not going to give it up because I don't feel like I can be myself without playing live music. And the truth is, too, I'm probably going to record a bunch of music. I don't know that I'll ever release a full-length record again where it's like, here's a record, songs 1 through 12. I'll probably release singles every 4 to 8 weeks. And then if people want to burn CDs with the songs in the order they like, then they're welcome to do that.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for doing this today. I really appreciate your time as always. And enjoy the rest of the tour.
Thanks a lot.